This is the Hub on Hollywood. I'm James.
I'm Jamie.
And we love movies.
And James, I'm so happy to have the people with us today who are listening to us on Apple iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, or looking at our lovely faces on YouTube. We love and appreciate these people so that we can come back every single week and talk about the things that we love. Speaking of, one of the big things, Marvel MCU show that's on right now, and by far the best episode, I think, so far, episode 5, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We're going to be doing a whole rundown on that today. What else are we talking about, James?
So we are staying with the developing Marvel world, the Marvel MCU universe, and we are getting tidbits into the new Spider-Man movie with Tom Holland. But we're seeing an old face. Rumors are out there, but apparently it's been confirmed by the man himself, Alfred Molina, who played Doc Ock. Mm-hmm. He's speaking out about his role and his experience filming in the new latest Spider-Man movie. So we will get into that.
He's spilling
as well as
the
casting
beans.
Yeah, and it's funny. Tom Holland's usually the one who's spoiling everything, but apparently Alfred Molina, he's saying, you know what? I haven't been on Spider-Man's radar in 17 years.
Yeah,
it's maybe the best way to do it. So we will talk about that, as well as I watched Godzilla versus Kong. The two apex behemoths go at it, mano y mano, and we'll find out who wins, or maybe not. I'm still deciding whether this is gonna be a spoiler or a spoiler-free review of Godzilla versus Kong. Do you care? Do you care who won? I'm not sure. Not everybody's into the monster smashing movies.
No, I don't care in particular. I kind of want to know. I want to know who won.
Okay, well, we'll get into that later in the show, as well as casting calls. But again, as Jamie said, thank you so much for listening, for watching us. Smash that like, smash that subscribe button on YouTube. Give us a follow, give us a share, and all those other things that go along with it. But yeah, this last episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, it seems to be the calm before the storm, because though it's not as action-packed as previous episodes, it's one of the heaviest and influential episodes for Sam, Bucky, and everyone else in the show.
Oh my gosh, James, this is my favorite episode by far. Heck, this is like my favorite 10 minutes of MCU ever are in this episode. If it was just a show about Bucky and Sam fixing boats together and healing each other and just having this awesome bromance while Bucky flirts with Sam's sister, like, I'd watch 10 seasons of it. I would order them right now. I want 10 seasons of this. It has it fed my animals and it watered my crops, James. I loved it so much. But let's start from the beginning. Let's start from the beginning of this episode. Do you mind if I start diving into it?
Go for it.
Okay. So I think that this episode, the directors and the writers were particularly brave and really thoughtful with their storytelling. It does not shy away from the immediate aftermath of what John Walker has done. So his partner was killed. He, in turn, kills one of the flag smashers who was innocent, who did not harm his partner, in broad daylight, in front of everybody, smashing him to death with the shield. So we're in the immediate aftermath of that. And he's crying in a warehouse. He's lying to himself about why he's done it. He's like, that was the guy. And Bucky and Sam confront him immediately. They're like, I get it, buddy, but you got to give us the shield. Now, Sam is a grief counselor. He is a veteran's grief counselor. That's part of his who this character is. And I think he almost gets him to stand down. But then as soon as they ask for the shield, John Walker's kind of loses it. And Bucky is all too happy to take it back, using his fists. And that's exactly what happens here. And I just gotta tell you, man, it's just cinematically beautiful. It is emotional. Sam has his wings, literally but symbolically ripped from him by this false Captain America, and then Bucky gets the shield, and he's standing in the sunlight, and he's handing it down to Sam. And, and Sam doesn't have a choice now. He has to take that shield, and he's trying to, literally and figuratively clean the blood from it, because that, it's been sullied. It's been sullied. It's just so beautifully done. That part in particular. What were your thoughts there in the beginning?
Well, the opening fight scene, I really liked the fight between the new Captain America, Buck, and Sam. When Bucky's arm started malfunctioning, when he got thrown and launched into that metal barrier, that metal beam, and it started malfunctioning and sparking, I for a split second I thought, oh no, like is his arm ever gonna work? It seems like it has, and it is working. But he was down for a good minute or two, and so that surprised me that. In the previous episode, his arm came completely off because the Wakandan warriors, they just disabled it. And in this one, again, I thought, I'm not sure if that's foreshadowing that he's going to be losing his arm at the end of this season or series. So that struck out to me. And also, John Walker, I'm not quite sure if he is trying to convince himself that the person he murdered was the one who murdered his partner, or if it's something to help just spread the lie, saying, maybe not to convince himself, but because he went to the parents of his partner and told him, this was the person who killed you, and I killed him, and this brought justice, and that brought for sure some relief to the parents. And I'm not sure again if John Walker is saying this lie, knowing it's a lie, to try to make everything feel better, or if he is literally trying to force himself into believe that is what happened, and trying to again reason with his own behavior. But he's. I think when they did ask for the shield back, that was another hit to his ego. Again, he's Captain America. You can't de-shield Captain America, and I think that was one of the factors that caused him to snap and then. Start this three-way fight. But that was really good. Him being go ahead.
Oh yeah, when John Walker is like in front of the senators, in front of like the tribunal or whatever, he's right. That John Walker is right. They did make him. He is exactly what they pushed him to be with their unrealistic expectations, and they pushed him to be exactly what he is, to do the actions and fulfill the actions that he has done. And they don't want to take accountability for that, so they're punishing him. And I just love that I love the writers are going for the shades of gray. They're going for, the nuance here. They just makes it feel very real.
Yeah, he is right saying that he did what they wanted them to do. But again, I feel like this is part of him trying to convince himself that he's, not a bad person. Because when he was fighting Bucky and Sam, one of the lines that he said is, "Why are you making me do this?" That's something that, abusers or people that are, necessarily bad or doing bad things, they'll shift the blame saying, "I'm not hitting you, you're making me hit you." Or when he was in front of the lawmakers or the legislators or the generals, I'm not quite sure what the position was at the top of my head.
Senators,
but he was saying,
were senators, yeah.
The senators. He was saying, "You made this into me." Yes and no. He took it upon himself to take the serum. He made himself into this super being, and with that has changed or heightened his bad qualities or bad flaws. And so that, I don't think if he wasn't on the serum, he would have gone and killed that guy, even if his partner was killed, and avenged his death. I think the serum, again, just elevates the bad qualities and flaws of himself and push him over the edge. And so, I understand the point he was making, which is true. This is what the senators, what they wanted him to do and what they wanted him to be. But at the same time, he has his own flaws that he needs to admit to and take ownership of.
Absolutely.
And part of that was taking the serum, and again, which led to all this other stuff.
Yeah, and so we've not seen the end of John Walker. One of the end credit scenes is the hits to his ego have just been one too many. He believes that he is still Captain America, and he's forging his own shield. And so I'm interested to see what he comes out as. We're all building up to this crescendo. But I think another thing that the show did incredibly well in this episode was Isaiah. When Sam Wilson goes to visit Isaiah again, because he feels like he needs to understand. He really needs to understand Isaiah's experience, what happened to him, and what that was all about before he decides whether or not he wants to be Captain America. I just thought it was a masterpiece. Honestly, I thought it was a masterpiece. Yeah. It was thoughtful. It was well paced. It doesn't shy away from everything that Black Americans have suffered in this country. It explores that the mentality. It explores that the violence. It explores what that does to your psyche. And
Also the hypocrisy, because he told the example of how he disobeyed orders when he was given the serum, and afterwards, and he disobeyed orders when his brothers were captured, and he goes over there, he accomplishes his mission, rescues his brothers, brings them back, but instead of being applauded, he was jailed and experimented on. When Steve Rogers did the same thing in the first Avenger, he disobeyed orders, went into enemy territory, rescued his brothers, including Bucky, and when he came back, he came back to a round of applause, everybody cheering him on, and everybody loving what he did.
Yeah,
vastly different experiences from Steve Rogers to Isaiah.
Yeah, and Isaiah tells him, like, I know why you're asking me these things. I know, because you've got that white man's shield. And, he says that no self-respecting black man would want to be Captain America. And I think that, it's really important for them to explore that. And then, Sam takes that home, and he's thinking about that. He's thinking about everything else. And just because, and Isaiah also says, they won't let a black man be Captain America. The establishment, whoever they is, won't let it happen. But it doesn't mean that he's not worthy. It doesn't mean he shouldn't do it anyways. And I think that after, going home and being with his family and working with the boat, I love that he comes to the conclusion. He says something like, what would be the point of all that pain and suffering if I stopped fighting now? If I stop the fight. Like, it doesn't mean that I shouldn't be this. It doesn't mean that I don't deserve this. It doesn't mean that, I am not Captain America and that I don't have something to give. And I really, really love that. And Bucky helps him come to this, Bucky is there, encouraging him and all this stuff. And I really, really need to take a couple of minutes to gush about the boat montage.
It's great.
Do you have a minute?
Yes, we do. We have plenty of time.
All right. James, it was so beautiful. It was so cute. It was so adorable. Like, just the two of them together, working on the boat, having this budding bromance, like, as they're working together, they're coming to understand each other a little bit more. And, like, Sam's there, like, trying to get a piece of metal off the boat, and Bucky just walks up and rips it off, and is really... It's just really beautiful watching Bucky flirt with the sister, and just watching Sam, with his family, with his nephews, and digesting everything. I love that they took the time to develop his thought process, to let him come to the conclusion on his own that this is where he really wants to be, and they took an entire episode to allow this storytelling. To allow this beautiful, beautiful storytelling. And like I said, if it was just a show about Sam Wilson and Bucky on a boat, kind of like,
instead of WandaVision in the house, it's just them two on a boat.
No. Kind of like Forrest Gump and Lieutenant Dan on the fishing boat.
Or Lieutenant Dan, yeah.
Yeah, if it was just them, fixing a boat and fishing, and Bucky flirting with the 10 seasons. I'd be there for it every single day. Bucky is so cute, and I would love to see him be happy. I'd like to see him just be happy and be a human being again. And then, at the end of this episode, at the end of this training montage, and Sam and Bucky are talking again, and Sam tells him, believe it or not, it does not matter what Steve thought. It doesn't matter what Steve thought about you. It matters what you think about yourself. And it's not about making yourself feel better. It's about being of service to the people who you might have slighted or harmed and hurt, and making things right, and I loved it so much. There's a lot of healing that you get from all of these, from WandaVision also. Dealing with grief and dealing with hardship and adversity and trauma, and I think that that's really beautiful, because it's so easy to like just gloss over that, James. It's so easy to be like bing bang boom, explosions, but everything's fine, happy ending. I think it's what's beautiful about these shows and doing it in the longer format is that you really get it to go into the nitty gritty, and the way that they're doing the mentality and the mental health part of all of this is just, it's beautiful. It's really, really, really well done. And I just want to give them a round of applause for that. Just like WandaVision, what did Vision say? What is grief if not love persevering? And now we're getting a little bit more advice, life advice here. So I don't know, it makes you feel good. I feel like it's going in the right direction.
Whenever anybody's down or they need a good pick me up, what we learn is that what you need is a montage. We had the boat repair montage. We had the Sam working out with the shield montage, getting stronger, faster, jumping, flipping. John Walker got his own montage at the very end as he was building his shield and his new equipment and everything. And so this was the episode of montages. But like you said, one of the maybe not my top favorite, but it is up there, as I recognize that is a very pivotal episode for this, and again setting the final set pieces for the final battle in the next episode. And I'm not quite sure what your predictions are. John Walker, of course, I think he of course is gonna pop up somehow with his new shield, a new uniform of some sort, and I think he's gonna try to get back his rifle shield, and then I could see, talking about the Flag Smashers, I could see the main villain, I guess the female leader of them.
Yeah.
I could see her. I'm predicting she's gonna die somehow. I don't know. I think she's gonna. I don't see her continuing into more seasons or whatnot, because I don't think the Flag Smashers are the main villain of the series. I think the main villain is pretty much, maybe not the villain, but the biggest obstacle is. Who's going to take over the mantle of Captain America or progress it. And, we have all these budding forces that want to either change the establishment or, in John Walker's case, wants to continue and further the established, Captain America.
What's great about the antagonist here, too, is the antagonist doesn't necessarily have to be a person. The antagonist can also be society. And society is in chaos right now because of post-blip, and billions of people are suddenly back here. And they're trying to move all of these refugees around, people who are now countryless. And there's millions and millions, tens of millions of people who are displaced and really sympathize with the Flag Smashers. So it all feels very real. It's all very realistic and believable. And having that texture and having that, character development is just, oh God, I love it. It is really, really good.
Now, one thing I do expect to see again is Zemo. Zemo, I feel like he's going to be making another appearance. I'm not sure if he's going to escape because those Wakandan warriors, they're very good. So
they're not going to let him escape.
I imagine we haven't seen the last of him.
No, I really hope that we continue to see Zemo. And that was another beautiful part. Oh my gosh, everything about this episode was great. was at the very end that Bucky goes and finds Zemo, who's in front of the Sokovia Monument. The Sokovia Memorial. And, he makes him think for a second that Bucky makes Zemo think for a moment that he's going to kill him. He points the gun at him, but then he shows him that, he took the bullets out, and it's kind of proving to him like, hey, your assumptions about all enhanced beings or super people is wrong. I am not who you think I am. I am not just a killer. I am not just somebody who's a supremacist or looking for power. And I think that makes a big impression on Zemo, and that's wonderful. So I think that, he's moving more into anti-hero versus villain territory, and we haven't seen the end of him. I honestly just want to see him dancing again, because that was pretty awesome. So do you think, now here's a question for you, do you think that Sharon is the power broker, or do you think that Elaine from Seinfeld, who we see at the end of this episode, introduced as the Countess or some other villain, talking to John Walker, do you think she's the power broker? Who do you think is the power broker, I guess is my question.
I'm still trying to get my head around Sharon because she's kind of been all over the place, and she's still very the most mysterious, puzzle in this whole piece. And so I'm still not quite sure about her, but I think she's working for the broker. Julia Louis Dreyfus, that was a cool, nice surprise. I've been hearing people saying that she's probably this comic character named Madam Hydra, and so she's going to be recruiting John Walker into this new form of like maybe the anti-Avengers kind of a thing, and building her army. And so I think maybe she's not a part of the broker's plan or everything, or with them, or even involved, or even cares about the Flag Smashers. But I think from what I've seen online, she may be playing this character, Madam Hydra, who is trying to build the anti-Avengers, the Dark Avengers, and recruit Walker. And so I think that's where I think that connection, that storyline's going to go.
What I'm a little bit confused about, though, is is Sharon is the one who asks the hitman who meets with Carly at the end of the episode to meet with Carly. Like, she's asking him to do it as a favor, but he wants to kill Sam. And I'm just confused about what this means and whether Sharon, what side Sharon is on, or what is going on here, whether she's helping Sam in a way by sending this guy to meet with Carly, or how that's all gonna play into it. But it's interesting. So, they're setting up now for a serious ramp up in the action, and it remains.
Falcon's gonna have a new uniform, a new soldier suit, I'm assuming, new wings.
Wakandan, a new Wakandan upgrade super suit type thing with the vibranium, made of vibranium, so that'll help keep him safe, because he's just a regular guy also, right? He doesn't necessarily have any superpowers.
One thing I heard was funny, like during the fight with John Walker, Bucky's probably thinking, why did I get rid of those guns? Why did I had two of these guns in my hands? I could have just shot him. Now he's probably regretting that after that fight. But yes, I'm sure the new suit's going to help increase his abilities to fly, and he's also going to be sporting the shield. But let us know what you think down below. What were your general thoughts on this latest episode? Do you think John Walker is going to be joining Madam Hydra or Julia Louis-Dreyfus and this new potential Dark Avengers? Let us know what you think. Comment down below. I'm very curious and eager to see the final episode of the season, possibly series.
Yeah, but speaking of very exciting possibilities in the MCU, James, Alfred Molina of Doc Ock fame in the Tobey Maguire series, spilling the beans, James, spilling the beans everywhere. Tom Holland, like you said, normally who's like a sieve, who's normally like a hole in the wall, and he's like the one who's responsible for most of the leaks and spoilers, has nothing on Alfred right now. Not only is he confirming that he is in the next Tom Holland Spider-Man movie, which is coming out in December, but he also is saying that his character kind of picks up exactly where he left off in the last film that we saw him in, where he's falling into the water, and with the whatever reactor falling with him into the water, and so I guess he falls through a wormhole or something and finds himself in Tom Holland's universe, which it does kind of make sense. But okay, so my question is, first, that's awesome. Second, does this mean that we're going to see Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man at the same age? You know what I mean? Like, does he follow him into this wormhole, or are we going to see Tobey Maguire Spider-Man who's a lot older? Or I'm just I don't know. What do you think? What do you think?
No, well, Alfred Molina did say, he was talking about the experience going back to shoot, and according to Variety, he was saying, it was a wonderful experience. Yeah. He said it was very interesting going back after 17 years to play the same role, given that, over the years, he said now he has two chins, a waddle, crow's feet, and a slightly dodgy lower back. But he said in this universe no one really dies, and so I think one possibility is he may have been pulled into this wormhole by some nuclear fusion from Spider-Man 2, from that weird sun, or the sun he was trying to create. And so it's possible that he may have been, if they are going with the wormhole theory, he lands somewhere in Tom Holland's Spider-Verse and it's been kind of laying low for the past 17 years or for a while, and then maybe comes out for some reason, and then that's when it goes into, we need the other Spider-Man who knows how to work with this one, who's dealt with this one before, and then Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, they do some little wormhole thing, pull in Tobey Maguire. Again, that's very simplistic and probably won't happen, but that's a potential way to bring back Tobey.
Yeah. So either that or I just feel like they're going to be they're probably going to be using de-aging technology, which we've seen a few times. We've seen Samuel L. Jackson de-aged in Captain Marvel, and we've seen this technology used a few times. Some good, some bad. So I would hope that they've got the cash. Money is no object. So hopefully they have the time and the resources to make this look really good. I don't know. I'm just excited, James. I'm just excited. I think. So I think this kind of it spoils a little bit. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah.
It
Do you
takes
think you got a phone call
from
Kevin Feige?
I don't know. I mean, has he called you yet? I'm expecting him to call me. It takes a little bit of that mystery away because we were thinking before, like, could they do like a WandaVision type thing where they bring these characters back, but they're not really who they played, before. They just brought them back for, as another character. So it takes a little bit of the mystery away, but not enough that I'm not still extremely excited to go, to see it this December.
Yeah, I'm curious what they're going to do because it's not going to be an easy way to mesh all these different universe characters and put them all into one place. So if anybody could do it, though, it's Marvel, it's Kevin Feige, it's Jon Favreau. I'm sure he's going to be a part of it somehow. But yeah, really, really looking forward to that. That was going to be interesting to see.
I want Jon Favreau to be my uncle. You know what I mean?
He's a good cook. He has a cooking show on Netflix, which is really good. I think it's called Chef or something. It's really, really good. And so, plus he talks to all these other great chefs. I highly recommend it.
Okay. Oh, I didn't even know that. Okay, I will. Okay, I'll go check that out because I love him. I would love to just like have dinners at his house, hang out on the weekends, take the kids over to play. Like, he just seems like a good dude, like a solid
very
dude.
huggable.
Very huggable, right? Okay, it's not just me. Great.
No.
Okay.
Well, if you want to hug Jon Favreau, we can give you the best chance at possibly meeting him, and that's getting you famous, getting you noticed, by getting you in movies and TV shows.
That's a good one.
And so let's just jump right into our casting calls for this week. We have a few, but some pretty interesting ones. But I can kick it off if you like.
Yeah, go ahead and kick that off.
So Boston Casting, we're looking for African-American men and women between 70 and 80 years old, as well as multiracial families, male and females between 65 and 75 years old. This is for 2 upcoming projects, and acting experience is a must. If you are between 70, 80 years old, African-American, or multiracial 65 to 75 years old. Send your resume, your photo, all your bio information. Send that to bostoncasting5@gmail.com. You're also encouraged to send this along to anyone else you may know. Awesome.
They are also looking for boys aged 11 to 13 for a speaking role in a movie. This is a really exciting opportunity. CP Casting. CP Casting is looking for boys 11 to 13 for a major speaking role in a major feature film shooting in Massachusetts this summer. They haven't started yet. It says this is well paid. Yeah, it seems like it would be well paid. So they want you to email your child's name, phone number, age, height, where you live, an acting resume, headshots and recent photos to cpcastingsubmission, singular, @gmail.com. They said don't rush, make sure you have all the information in there. So again, boys age 11 to 13 for a major speaking role in a film that is shooting in Massachusetts this summer. Also filming pretty frequently right now is the Showtime series Dexter. They're looking for a lot of extras for a lot of days. That's through Boston Casting.
A lot of murdering.
Yeah, so if you haven't already, a lot of murdering. Yeah, the extras go in and they don't come out.
No.
So if that sounds like a fun party to you, go ahead and sign up for Boston Casting for all of those updates. And James, yes, Jon Favreau, super huggable. Also huggable, Godzilla.
Yeah, sure, why not? You won't survive long after hugging Godzilla, but you can give it a shot.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
anything, I think Kong may be the more huggable one.
Okay.
But yeah, I watched Godzilla versus Kong, the fight of the century. Everyone's been talking about this.
They hug it out, right? They hug it out.
They
in
hug it
the
out.
end,
Yeah, they actually
Okay.
they end up with a hug and a cup of coffee, stroll back
Okay.
into the water.
Sounds right.
No, but yeah. So I watched Godzilla versus Kong, and I think most people would understand. This is a Godzilla movie. This is a monster smashing movie. This isn't Citizen Kane. This isn't Schindler's List. That'd be weird if it was, but it's not. You know what you're going into. There's like a lot of people die in this movie because, again, just things are getting thrown around, tossed around, laser beams smashing everywhere and piercing into everything. But this is, it's in the universe that has been currently created for the monsters, Godzilla, all these other sequels and whatnot. I think this may be the best of them. I've seen Kong Skull Island, the first Godzilla, the Godzilla sequel, King of the Monsters. This one may be my favorite of the universe. Not saying that they're great, but this one may be my favorite of the Godzilla in the universe ones. Basically, a quick rundown. Godzilla, he's seemingly attacking random cities and people for no apparent reason. So they're trying to figure out and try to stop Godzilla, figure out what's going on, why he's so angry. A little clue or a little part of this is they think that he's trying to find the rest of these apex monsters that they call titans, and Godzilla's role is to pretty much keep every monster in line by going over there, dominating them, make sure they don't cause a ruckus. And they think that he's probably trying to find Kong, because Kong, according to this mythology that's really expanded on in this movie, more so than any other Godzilla or King Kong movie, but they expand into the mythology that Kong, the species of ape, and the Godzilla species have been at war for eons. And so they think, he's trying to find Kong. Kong's a good guy. Let's try to get him back to his Earth, This goes into many different mythologies and random theories. One theory, if you've seen the previous ones, is that there's this hollow Earth theory where the idea is below the Earth's crust, there's this other subcontinent or sub-world where these creatures, monsters, dinosaurs, they've been living for generations, for centuries and millennia. And so they're trying to get Kong back there so him and Godzilla won't fight. Well, things happen. Eventually, Godzilla and King Kong are forced to meet up, and in the commercials or the people that were promoting the movie, the creators, they were saying there is a definitive winner in this movie. This isn't like Jason versus Freddy Krueger, where they both go at each other and then they both end up alive at the very end, kind of a thing. Or there's like it's questionable who won. In this movie, there is a winner, and
who is it?
I guess So spoilers. Spoiler alert. So basically, Godzilla won. Godzilla did not kill King Kong, but they did both fight. They both had if you want to break it down in the movie into 3 rounds, Godzilla and Kong both won a round each, and in the final battle, Godzilla gets the upper hand and pretty much pins King Kong, and they both had this mutual okay, fine, you won. And then Godzilla, yeah, I won. Yeah. And so they both leave. And here's another spoiler, since I'm spoiling that. But this one was kind of already leaked and rumored and talked about much before the movie came out. But Mechagodzilla makes an appearance. He is the final baddie of this. And so, of course, Godzilla and King Kong, they combine forces. They realize they're friends after all. What? And they begin fighting Mechagodzilla. And so the pros, really quick for this movie, the fighting between the monsters were clearly the best part of this. Godzilla went into full Godzilla mode. Kong was very creative in his fighting styles. Mechagodzilla was kind of weird, but it worked for the movie. Yeah. The cons, the aesthetically, or I don't know, just the way that Godzilla looked. Looked like he was significantly smaller in this film than the previous films, and I think that was done purposely to make it an even fight between him and Kong. But at the same time, I thought, because there were rumors of Mechagodzilla, that this smaller version of Godzilla was Mechagodzilla with some weird, living flesh over him. Again, all these wild theories. That turned out to not be the case. And so that kind of threw me off, because I was wondering, when is this reveal going to happen. Like, oh no, that is Godzilla.
Yeah.
So that happened. Another weird part, the mythology, again, it just went into this weird realm of like, okay, there are wormholes under subterranean levels of Earth and all this other weird stuff. So that is its own thing. Last thing, but is the most common complaint out of all the movies, is the stories involving the humans. You can cut out 50% of the human interactions in this movie and it would be better for it. There was this subplot with Millie Bobby Brown, her father, which they were in the previous movie, and this other kid that follows them around and whatnot. Their whole subplot could have been erased, and again, the movie made better for it. But other than that, Godzilla versus Kong. Again, if you don't care about spoilers, the action is entertaining enough for that. And I think you already knew going in there wasn't going to be like, one of them dies for sure. So either way, it's a monster movie, it's a Kong flick, it's a Godzilla movie. It's my favorite of the inverse Godzilla movies. So take that how you will. So I'd recommend it if you have HBO Go or HBO Max. I have that. It may be worth going to see in the big screen, the big monsters fighting on the big screen. I watched it at home. I think I'm okay with not going to the movie theater for this, but that's just me.
Yeah. Well, we're getting there. Oh my gosh. I'm getting my first Fauci ouchie next week, and once I'm done with the vaccinations, I will be in the theater, James, for everything. I'm over it. I want to be in the theaters again. If you listen to our last episode of the Hub on Hollywood, I did go to the movies for the very first time in over a year and a half to go see The Courier. And so hopefully we can get you there too, James. And I'd love to hear what people thought of Godzilla versus Kong and what they're excited to see in the theaters when they get to go back to the theaters. For me, I think the pinnacle for this year is going to be Tom Holland's Spider-Man. That's what I'm really looking forward to the most. What about you?
I think Spider-Man as well. I'm also waiting for Mission Impossible. They keep pushing that back, and also Maverick, the new Tom Cruise Top Gun sequel. So they're pushing those dates back also. So that, James Bond, there's so many movies that are continuously being pushed back, but we will get there. I'm becoming eligible this week for the vaccine. So can't wait to get back to the movies too. Let us know what you're waiting to go see, what you're dying to, rush back to the movie theater for. Have you seen Godzilla versus Kong? Comment down below. What did you think? Also, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Final episode coming up next week. What are your predictions? Give us a like. We are on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. We're on social media at Hub on Hollywood on Instagram and Twitter. Thank you so much for tuning in for this week.
We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.